I never thought I'd have to choose between the woman who raised me and the woman I wanted to spend my life with. But when your mother has spent your entire life making sure she's the only woman in your world, bringing home your first serious girlfriend is like lighting a match in a room full of dynamite. My name is Alex, and until I was 27, my mom controlled every aspect of my love life. Or more accurately, made sure I didn't have one. From childhood, she drilled into me that no woman would ever love me like she did, that girlfriends were temporary but mothers were forever, and that I should always put her first. Like most kids raised in that environment, I didn't realize how unhealthy it was until I was deep into adulthood. When I met Sophia at a friend's birthday dinner, something clicked. She was brilliant, finishing her PhD in environmental science, passionate about her research on coral reef conservation, and she had this infectious laugh that made everyone around her smile. After 3 months of dating, things were getting serious, and I knew it was time for her to meet my mom. She'll love you, I assured Sophia as we drove to my parents' suburban home for Sunday dinner. Just be yourself. Looking back, I can't believe how naive I was. My mother had spent 27 years ensuring she'd be the only woman in my life, and I honestly thought she'd make an exception for Sophia. The drive to my childhood home was filled with Sophia's nervous chatter as she asked questions about my family and wondered aloud if my mom would like the artisanal chocolates we'd brought as a gift. My dad opened the door, giving us both warm hugs, his eyes lighting up when he met Sophia. "She's lovely, Alex," he whispered as he took our coats. Dad had always been the quiet counterbalance to my mother's domineering personality, loving but passive, unwilling or unable to challenge her behavior. "Mom's in the kitchen," he said, a note of warning in his voice that I should have paid more attention to. The moment we walked into the kitchen, the temperature seemed to drop 20 degrees. My mother stood by the counter, chopping vegetables with such force I was surprised the cutting board hadn't split in two. She didn't look up when we entered. "Mom, this is Sophia," I said, my voice sounding unnaturally cheerful even to my own ears. Mom finally looked up, her eyes scanning Sophia from head to toe in that dismissive way that made me wince. "Oh, I thought you were bringing a friend, not a girlfriend." Sophia stepped forward, extending her hand in the box of chocolates. "It's so nice to meet you, Mrs. Reynolds. Alex has told me so much about you." My mother ignored her outstretched hand. "Has he? Well, he's barely mentioned you." And that was just the beginning. Throughout dinner, my mother's passive-aggressive comments escalated to outright hostility. She accidentally spilled red wine on Sophia's white blouse, criticized her career choice. "So you spend all day looking at fish? How? Unique," and repeatedly referred to her as Alex's little friend who probably won't be around long. When Sophia excused herself to the bathroom, my mother leaned across the table. "She's using you, Alex. I can see it in her eyes. She probably just wants a man with a stable job to support her while she plays with her little fish." "Mom, stop it," I hissed. "Sophia is brilliant and kind, and I really care about her." "Nobody will ever care about you like I do," she replied, reaching for my hand. "Nobody will ever put you first like I do." When Sophia returned, my mother launched into a series of embarrassing stories from my childhood, emphasizing how close we were and how I had always been a mama's boy. She pulled out photo albums, showing pictures of me in the bathtub, telling stories about how I used to say I would marry her when I grew up. The final straw came during dessert when my mother accidentally referred to Sophia as my previous girlfriend's name, then added, "Not that it matters, they never last long anyway." Sophia's eyes filled with tears, and she excused herself again. I followed her to the hallway where she was gathering her coat. "I'm sorry, Alex, but I can't do this. Your mother clearly hates me, and this is just too uncomfortable." I was about to apologize when my mother appeared behind us. "Leaving so soon? I guess you're not as committed to my son as you pretend to be." Something in me snapped. 27 years of suppressed frustration erupted. "The only one with unhealthy attachment issues here is you, Mom. You've spent my entire life making sure I couldn't have normal relationships because you're terrified of not being the center of my universe. I've let you do it because I didn't know any better." My mother's face drained of color. "How dare you speak to me like that? After everything I've done for you?" "What have you done for me, Mom? Made me dependent on your approval? Sabotaged every relationship I tried to build? That's not love, that's control." Her eyes narrowed. If you leave with her right now, don't bother coming back. I looked at Sophia, her eyes wide with shock and something else. Respect? Maybe? Then I turned back to my mother. Okay. The drive home was quiet. Sophia didn't say much beyond, "Are you okay?" I wasn't okay. I was angry, hurt, embarrassed, questioning everything about my relationship with my mother. But I also felt a strange sense of liberation, like I'd finally broken free from an invisible cage. At Sophia's apartment, we talked until sunrise. I told her things I'd never told anyone. How my mother had discouraged me from attending college out of state, sabotaged my prom date by claiming I had a skin condition, and called me multiple times daily after I moved out. "Alex," Sophia said gently, "what your mother is doing isn't normal. It's called emotional incest, and it's a form of abuse." The word abuse hit me like a physical blow. I'd never considered my mother's behavior abusive. Overbearing, yes, but abusive? As Sophia explained, everything started making sense. The guilt trips, excessive dependency, jealousy toward any woman in my life, lack of boundaries. "You should talk to someone about this," Sophia suggested. "A therapist who specializes in family dynamics." I nodded. "What about us? I'd understand if this is too much drama." She took my hand. "I care about you, Alex, but I need to know you're serious about addressing this. I can't be in a relationship where your mother is always trying to destroy us." "I'm serious," I promised. "I want healthy boundaries with you, and eventually with my mother, if possible." The next few weeks blurred together. My mother alternated between tearful apologies, accusations, and guilt-tripping messages. My father called too, suggesting I apologize to keep peace, as he had done for 30 years. I started seeing Dr. Levine, who specialized in family trauma. She explained this was normal for someone breaking free from an enmeshed relationship. "Your mother created a relationship where you were expected to meet her emotional needs, needs that should have been met by her partner or herself, doctor," Levine explained. "That's preventing you from forming healthy adult relationships." She suggested limited contact while establishing boundaries. When I tried discussing boundaries with my mother, she showed up at my apartment unannounced, causing such a scene that neighbors called security. After that, Dr. Levine helped me draft a letter explaining I needed space for at least 6 months. I loved them both, but our relationship had become unhealthy. My father called, sounding defeated. "Your mother's not taking this well. She keeps saying you've abandoned her." I felt the familiar guilt, but Dr. Levine had prepared me. "I'm sorry, Dad. I hope she'll talk to someone about her feelings, but I need this time." "And what about us? What about me?" he asked, his voice breaking. That caught me off guard. I hadn't considered my father's role in enabling her behavior. "I'll call you in a few weeks, Dad, just you." Those months transformed me. Without my mother's presence, I discovered who I really was. I started rock climbing, something she'd always discouraged. I reconnected with old friends she'd undermined over the years. My relationship with Sophia deepened. She supported me while pushing me to recognize unhealthy patterns before they took root in our relationship. 6 months later, I met my parents at a cafe near my apartment. My mother looked smaller somehow. My father looked tired but hopeful. "I've missed you," my mother said, reaching for my hand. I moved my hand away. "I've missed you too, but I need to know if you understand why I needed this break." Her eyes filled with tears. "I just love you so much, maybe too much sometimes, but I've been seeing a counselor," your father insisted. I looked at my dad in surprise. He'd never stood up to her before. "It's been hard," he admitted, "for both of us, but necessary." We talked for hours. My mother cried when I described how her behavior had affected me. Sometimes she became defensive, falling into old patterns, but my father redirected her. "I want a relationship," I told them, "but it has to be different. I need you to respect my boundaries, my choices, and the people in my life." "Like Sophia?" my mother asked, a slight edge to her voice. "Yes, like Sophia, but also anyone else. My life is my own, Mom. You'll always be my mother, but you can't be the center of my world." To my surprise, she nodded. "I'm trying to understand that. It's hard, but I'm trying." We agreed to continue family therapy and rebuild our relationship with healthier boundaries. The road hasn't been smooth. There have been setbacks, moments when my mother slipped into old habits, but there's been progress too. 6 months later, I invited my parents for dinner with Sophia. My mother brought her flowers and asked about her research. It was awkward, but a start. A year later, when I proposed to Sophia during a diving trip, my mother's reaction was the test. I called my parents with the news. "Oh, Alex," she said, her voice emotional. "I'm so happy for you. She's a wonderful woman." I could hear the effort those words took, putting my happiness above her desire to be most important in my life. Our wedding was small but joyful. My mother kept her promise to behave. During the reception, she approached us, champagne in hand. "I want to apologize for how I behaved when we first met and for many things over the years. I'm still learning, but I'm truly happy for you both." Sophia hugged her. "Thank you. That means a lot to us." Later, as we danced, Sophia whispered, "Are you happy?" I looked at my parents sitting together, then back at my bride who had stood by me through everything. "Happier than I ever thought possible," I answered truthfully. 3 years later, when our daughter Lily was born, I watched my mother hold her with mixed emotions. But the possessiveness I feared never materialized. Instead, she became a respectful grandmother who always calls before visiting. Dr. Levine says this is what healthy family relationships look like: respecting boundaries, supporting choices, loving without conditions. It's taken years of work and painful conversations, but we've created something beautiful from the wreckage of unhealthy patterns. Sometimes I think about that disastrous dinner, how close I came to losing Sophia, how different my life might have been without the courage to break free. But mostly, I think about raising Lily in a home with healthy love and clear boundaries, about her relationship with her grandmother built on mutual respect, about the man I'm becoming stronger each day. Breaking the cycle wasn't easy, but looking at my wife and daughter, I know it was worth every difficult moment. I hope my story helps others break free from unhealthy relationships and discover the joy awaiting them. Because love shouldn't come with conditions or require sacrifice. Real love sets you free to become who you were meant to be. Sometimes, finding that freedom means having the courage to say no more to the people who should have loved you best.